From continent to continent, from innocent children's rooms to the darkest, forgotten corners of the woods, these dolls were never meant to be mere playthings. They carry curses, frozen in time, vengeance that never fades, and terror waiting to be unleashed. This is the story of Annabelle, Robert the Doll, Okiku, and Jelangkung, 4 cursed dolls whispered about across the world. They are not just legends, they are warnings. Prepare yourself, for after this, nothing will ever look the same. Part 1. Annabelle. Annabelle, the doll from hell. A quiet house, but not empty. Slow, ominous voice. There was a small house in America where everything seemed normal, warm walls, tidy furniture. And in the corner of the bedroom sat a small, soft doll. Her name was Annabelle. But that night, someone swore they saw the doll move by itself. And from that night on, nothing was ever peaceful again. The story begins in the 1970s. A mother bought a doll for her daughter, a nursing student named Donna. The doll looked ordinary: yarn red hair, a smiling face, a soft cloth body. Donna and her roommate Angie placed it in the living room, but soon, strange things began to happen. They would find the doll in different positions, sometimes on the sofa, sometimes standing in the kitchen, sometimes inside a locked bedroom. Then they started finding tiny handwritten notes, scribbled on parchment paper. Help us, save us. But the real horror: they never owned parchment. One night, Donna came home from work. She saw red stains on the doll's hands and chest, like blood. But no source was ever found. Panic grew. They contacted a psychic medium, and the answer was chilling. The medium said the spirit inside the doll was that of a young girl named Annabelle Higgins, who had died tragically in that very area. The spirit, she claimed, only wanted a home, only wanted to be loved. Moved by sympathy, Donna gave the spirit permission to stay in the doll, and that was her biggest mistake. Their friend Lou didn't believe. He always said the doll was evil. One night, Lou woke up, feeling like he was being crushed. When he opened his eyes, Annabelle was sitting on his chest. Her soft hands were on his neck. He couldn't breathe. Another day, Lou walked into Donna's room and felt something attack him from behind. But no one was there. He looked down. His chest was scratched, deep claw marks. 3, then 4. Bleeding. Terrified, Donna and Angie reached out to Ed and Lorraine Warren, the famed paranormal investigators. When Lorraine saw the doll, she said immediately, "This is not a little girl's spirit. This is not human. This is a demonic entity, in disguise." The doll wasn't possessed by a ghost. Never mock Annabelle. Many visitors to the museum were tempted to mock the doll. One young man knocked on the glass and joked, "If you're really haunted, then do something to me." A few hours later, he died in a motorcycle crash. Lorraine Warren believed it was Annabelle's revenge. The doll still exists. To this day, Annabelle still sits inside her glass case, sealed with the words, "Warning, positively do not open." No one dares touch her anymore, because they know this is not a toy, she is a prison for something darker than death. And as long as she remains inside, the gate between our world and something else is still cracked open, just slightly. Do you believe a doll can be possessed by a demon? Or is Annabelle just an exaggerated urban legend? Part 2. Robert the Doll. Robert the Doll, the toy that stares back. Not every toy is meant to be played with. Inside a glass case, in a small museum in Key West, Florida, sits an old dusty doll. Dressed in a sailor suit, face worn and cracked, eyes cold and lifeless. His name is Robert. At first glance, he looks like any ordinary doll. But many people swear, if you stare into his eyes too long, he'll stare back. And worse, he might follow you home. Robert's story begins in the early 1900s, when a young boy named Robert Eugene Otto received the doll as a gift. Some say the doll was made in Germany. Others claim it was given by a servant, a woman who practiced voodoo, as revenge for how she had been treated. But what everyone agrees on is this: things started to change after the doll arrived. Young Eugene adored the doll. He named it Robert, after himself. But soon, strange things began to happen. Vases were broken, paintings were slashed, furniture moved on its own. And whenever his parents asked what happened, Eugene would simply say, "It wasn't me, it was Robert." At night, soft laughter echoed from Eugene's room, but it didn't sound like a child. It sounded older, darker. Neighbors claimed they saw something unnatural. When the Otto family was away, people swore they saw a small face looking out from the upstairs window. A face that didn't seem human. Inside the house, furniture was always found in different places. Robert would be sitting in a new chair, sometimes facing the wall, sometimes facing the door, waiting, but Robert stayed. Eugene grew up, became an artist, got married, but he never left Robert behind. When he returned to his childhood home, he gave Robert his own room. His wife grew terrified. She claimed the doll would move on its own. She said Robert hated her. Some nights she heard tiny footsteps walking the hallways, and when she opened the door, Robert would be there, sitting, silent, staring. After Eugene died, the house was sold. Robert was donated to the Fort East Martello Museum in Key West. They placed him inside a glass case, but even there, the hauntings didn't stop. Visitors who mocked Robert or took pictures without asking soon claimed to suffer misfortunes, car accidents, sudden illnesses, lost jobs, or even unexpected death. Now hundreds of letters surround Robert's display, each one a desperate apology. "I'm sorry, Robert. Please lift the curse. I didn't know you were real." Robert still sits in that glass case, unmoving, but never truly at rest. Museum staff say sometimes the glass fogs up, sometimes cameras won't focus on him, and sometimes they hear tiny footsteps echo through the museum late at night. But the most important rule: if you visit Key West and want to meet Robert the doll, always ask for permission, and if you see his eyes, don't stare too long. Do you believe a doll can hold a grudge for over 100 years? Or is Robert just a story that got out of control? Leave your thoughts in the comments. And remember, if you ever take a picture of Robert, always ask first. Part 3. Okiku. Okiku, haunted doll from Japan whose hair never stops growing. Quiet and chilling voice, inside an old Buddhist temple in Hokkaido, Japan, sits a small, pale-faced doll in a glass case. She wears a traditional kimono, her eyes are dark, and her long black hair falls down to her knees. But once, her hair was only shoulder length. The doll is named Okiku, and according to the monks who guard her, there's a soul living inside. In 1918, in the small city of Sapporo, a boy named Eikichi Suzuki bought a doll for his little sister Okiku, who was just 3 years old. The doll wore a delicate kimono and had short black shoulder-length hair. Little Okiku loved her dearly. She took the doll everywhere, to bed, to meals, and even while she was sick. But tragically, Okiku died suddenly of a high fever. She was only 3 years old. The Suzuki family was devastated. To remember their daughter, they placed her favorite doll on a small altar in their home. But after a few weeks, they noticed something strange. The doll's hair had started to grow. At first, just a few strands, then past the shoulders, then to the waist, and finally to the knees. They began to feel that Okiku hadn't truly left. As time passed, strange events began to happen in the house. Lights flickered. They heard soft giggles at night, footsteps on wooden floors, too light to be an adult's. Sometimes the doll would be found in different places, from the altar to the stairs, from the bedroom to the dining room. And in dreams, Okiku's mother often saw her daughter standing silently, still hugging the doll. Afraid of what the doll might become, the Suzuki family entrusted it to Mananji Temple in Hokkaido. The Buddhist monks accepted the doll and cared for it with deep reverence. Even to this day, the monks say the doll's hair keeps growing. Every few months, the hair is carefully trimmed by hand as a sign of respect, and when tested in laboratories, the results were astonishing. The hair was confirmed to be human, a spirit that doesn't harm, but must be respected. Unlike many haunted dolls, Okiku has never hurt anyone. Her spirit is believed to be gentle. Still, locals and visitors are warned: never mock her, never laugh, never disrespect. Some tourists reported having terrible nightmares, hearing laughter in their rooms, or even experiencing sudden hair loss after staring at the doll for too long. Okiku is still there. To this day, Okiku remains at Manenji Temple, sitting still in her glass case, her black hair cascading downward, and her eyes seemingly watching everyone who enters. If you visit, don't forget to bow and show respect, because the monks believe Okiku can still hear. And if, after you return home, you feel like someone's following you, or hear a little girl's laughter in the dark, don't ignore it. Maybe she just wants to play again. Part 4. Jelangkung. Jelangkung. A game that was never just a game. Never play with the world of the dead. Come uninvited. Leave unescorted. It sounds like an old rhyme, a childhood chant. But for those who have played the game, it's not a game at all. This is Jelangkung, a ritual, simple in tools, but dangerous in purpose. A doorway to something else. And one night, 3 teenagers found out, some doors never truly close. It happened in a quiet village, on the edge of town. 3 high school students, Diane, Aldi and Weira, bored on a school break, looking for something thrilling. Then came the idea, let's play Jelangkung. They crafted a doll, a coconut shell for a head, scraps of white cloth for clothes, 2 wooden sticks for arms. They placed paper on the floor, letters, A to Z, numbers, 0 to 9, 2 words, yes and no. They sat around the doll, held the sticks, and whispered, Jelangkung, Jelangkung, come uninvited, leave unescorted. The air shifted, the candles flickered, then the stick moved. What's your name? The stick spelled slowly, Maria. Why are you here? Tolisten. Diane laughed, nervously. Aldi turned pale. Weira's eyes darted to the shadows. Then darkness. The candle went out, and in the silence, a voice whispered, don't leave just yet. Panic. The doll was thrown. The paper burned. They ran into the night. They thought it was over. They were wrong. The signs that night. Diane dreamed of a woman, in white, standing in the corner of his room. Her eyes, red. Her mouth, torn, her hair, covering her face. Aldi heard crying. From the bathroom, late at night. The door creaked open, no wind. A mirror cracked. No reason. No warning. Weira never returned to school. His parents said, he started speaking alone, writing strange symbols on the wall. His eyes blank, his hands shaking, though he had no fever. They returned to the house. They found an old shaman. He listened, then simply said, you called her, but you didn't send her back. She's still here, following all of you. That night, a ritual was done. Black candles, sacred words. The flame dimmed and died. Then, laughter. Soft, Close. Thank you for opening the way. Diane collapsed. Aldi screamed, his voice not his own, and Weira disappeared. The next morning they found him, sitting, silent, in an old graveyard. Jelangkung is not a game, it's a ritual, a key to the unseen. And not all spirits leave when called. Some want to stay, some want a voice, some want a body. So the next time you see someone building a small doll, with a coconut shell and wooden arms, under a full moon, look away or join them. But know this, not everyone who plays comes back the same. Have you ever tried Jalangong? Or had your own encounter with the spirit world? Let us know in the comments, and if you ever hear whispers after midnight, you might already be playing.